Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare. Today in the session of class 7th Geography, we will read and learn about lesson number 1, Environment.
And children, in this chapter, we will be reading and learning about these following topics. पहले हम पढ़ेंगे environment क्या होता है, what is environment. Then we will read components of the environment, जिसमें natural component, human made component और human खुद में अपने आप में भी तो एक component है environment का, हम ये पढ़ेंगे. Then we will have an elaborate explanation of natural environment, human environment. Then we will read what is ecosystem. और फिर थोड़ा सा ग्लॉसरी देखेंगे, इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स पढ़ेंगे एंड देन वी विल रिकॉल द चैप्टर विद द हेल्प ऑफ सम एक्सरसाइजेस. ओके, सो नाउ लेट्स गेट इनटू द चैप्टर.
Alright, so let's read the topic. What is environment? It's a very basic yet very important question for every one of us. Let's understand with the help of a story. Okay, so there were 5 children. Can you see these 5 children? Their names are as follows. इसका नाम है रवि. He is Paramjeet. She is Asha. This boy is Mustafa. And this girl is Jessie. They were classmates. Ravi, Paramjeet, Asha, Mustafa and Jessie. Okay, they were classmates and they went on a vacation because they had summer holidays in school. After the long vacation, when Ravi started going to school again, he noticed that the only playground next to his school was dug up. He was very sad क्योंकि vacations के बाद when he got back to his school, उसने देखा that the only playground he had next to his school was dug up. Now he asked that what has happened? Why this playground has been dug up? People said that a huge building with many flats will be constructed there. So the playground they had, it was dug up, and in the place of that playground, people will make some person will make a huge building with various flats in it. When Ravi heard this, that in the place of our playground, building will be made, he was almost in tears. When he realized that the big playground with its soft grass, marigold flower and butterflies is gone forever. He shared his feeling with his classmates. These are the classmates. In the assembly, the principal too sadly observed, see how our environment is changing. When school assembly happened, principal also addressed the assembly and said, see children, how our environment is changing, how a big playground will be converted into a huge building and various flats. There will be no more grass, marigold flower and butterflies over there. Now Ravi was very confused that what is environment. So he came to his class and in the class he asked his teacher, ma'am, what is environment? Then the teacher said, beta, whatever you see in your surroundings is known as environment. Anything you see in your surroundings, आप अपने चारों ओर जो भी देखते हैं, everything is environment. Ravi thought aloud. That means the school building, tables, chair in the classroom, even that open field, the road, the garbage, my friends, they are all part of our environment. Teacher said, yes Ravi, you are right. Everything in your surrounding is environment. But teacher said, but wait. Some objects are created by nature. For example, mountains, rivers, trees, animals. These objects are created by nature and few objects such as road, garbage and chair table, they all are made by human being. So our environment has everything around us, but few objects are naturally made, few are human made. Okay? Others are made by people. For example, roads, cars, clothes, books. And now work in pairs. So there's an activity for you. You have to work in pairs. आप अपने किसी भी friend को अपने साथ ले लो and make a list with your classmate sitting next to you. You have to make a list of the creations of nature and by human beings. So you have to make a list. Objects created by nature and then other list objects created by human beings. Okay, you have to prepare these two lists. Ravi, Paramjeet, Jesse, Mustafa, Asha, all his classmates were very excited to make the list. Then Iqbal, one of the classmates, asked a very important question to the teacher. Iqbal asked, why is our environment changing? हमारा environment बदल क्यों रहा है? It's all because of our needs. Teacher ने बोला needs की वजह से, because we have needs. We need a building to live. We need road to walk the transport on. That is why we are changing our environment. And our needs are increasing day by day. We are therefore modifying and at times even destroying our natural surroundings, the teacher replied. Teacher said कि हमारी needs बढ़ती जा रही हैं, and that is why we are constantly modifying, constantly changing the character of the environment, and sometimes even destroying our nature also. Sometimes we are destroying our natural surroundings also to fulfill our needs, which is very wrong. Here is a flowchart given of components of environment. So there are three major components of environment: natural component, human made component, and human himself. Natural components में क्या क्या आएगा? Anything which is made by nature, that means land, air, water, biosphere, that means living things. Now you will ask me, what is lithosphere, what is biosphere, what is atmosphere, hydrosphere? We haven't heard these terms. I will tell you, don't worry. First, please understand components of environment. That means anything has some content. For example, human body has organs. Human body has organs. Similarly, environment also has some organs. Environment also has some components. And there are three major components of environment. First is natural component, second is human made component, and third is human. Now, natural component consists of land, air, water, and all the living beings. Human made components are building, park, bridges, road, industry, monument, or anything you can add which are made by human. And then the third important component of environment, that is human himself, includes the individual, his family, the community as a whole, the religion, the educational centers and organizations, the economic organization and the economy as a whole, the political situation of a country. Everything is a human component of environment. Okay. Now, we will understand what is lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. Okay. After reading about environment, that means everything in our surroundings is environment, we will take some more information. We will read some more information on environment. Children, please understand, environment is our basic life support system. It's very basic. अगर हमारे सराउंडिंग्स में ये सब चीजें नहीं होंगी, how will we live? It provides the air we breathe. It provides the water we drink. It provides the food we eat and the land where we live. That is why environment is our life support system. Because without air, water, food and land, we cannot live. Now the question is, how do human beings modify this natural environment? You just read that we are modifying our natural environment day by day to fulfill our needs. But how is the human being modifying the natural environment? The human being is modifying the natural environment by various objects and products and devices we use. For example, the car, we use car. The car fumes pollute the air. जो smoke उसमें से निकलता है, हो सकता है you may not be able to see the smoke, but there is always a smoke coming out of the silencer of the car which pollutes the air. Correct? Water is collected in a pot. Food is served in vessels and land is used to build the factories. All these components and all these additions to the environment is known as modifying the natural environment. When you change something of the environment, when you add something to the existing environment, then it is known as modifying the natural environment. Okay. You are not destroying it right now. Various people are destroying it, but when you add something to it, when you change something, then it is known as modification. But when you add something and it has negative effect, then it is known as destruction. When your addition is giving any negative effect, then it is known as destruction. But when your addition does not give any negative effect, it is known as only modification. Okay. Human beings make cars, mills, factories, manufacture containers. This is how human beings modify the natural environment. And ये सब हमारी needs है ना. We need a car to travel. We need a mill to have a produce. We need factories to manufacture the products. We need manufacture containers to store the products. That is why it is our needs because of which we are modifying the natural environment constantly. Okay. Children, the flowchart we read right now, you must have understand that place, people, things, and nature that surround any living organism is called environment. That means if you are a living organism and the places you are surrounded with, the people you are surrounded with, the things you are surrounded with, the nature you are surrounded with, everything is environment, right? It is a combination of natural and human made phenomena. Environment is a combination of natural and human made phenomena. I will repeat the statement. Environment, and please repeat it with me. Environment is a combination of natural and human made phenomena, right? Because we are surrounded with natural as well as human made objects. That is why environment is a combination of natural and human made phenomena. Alright. While the natural environment refers to both, that means biotic environment also, abiotic environment also existing on the earth. That means natural environment. No, let me write it again. Environment has two components, combination of natural and human made. And natural also has two components, biotic, abiotic. Alright. The third component of the environment was human himself, the individual, the family, the community, the religion, the political institutions, right? Everything. That's a very different component. Natural component of the environment has biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components कौन से होते हैं? The world of living organisms, all the living organisms, plants and animals. These are biotic natural components. And then there are abiotic natural components. For example, the world of living, non-living elements. Example, land. Land is made by nature, but it is a non-living component. It's a non-living component made by nature. Whereas plants and animals is a living component made by nature. So biotic and abiotic, both are natural, both are made by nature, but biotic consists of living organisms and abiotic consists of non-living elements. Clear? So the natural environment has biotic and abiotic components. Both abiotic and biotic are natural components, but biotic consists of living organisms and abiotic consists of non-living elements. Whereas the human environment reveals the activities, the creations, and the interaction among the human beings. Alright. Human environment is very different from the natural environment. Natural environment consists of these two major components, whereas human environment shows us the activities they do. That means they do construction of roads, wells, industries. They show us the creation, the archaeology, the craft, the painting, and they show us the interaction. That means political organizations, religious organizations, and everything like that. Okay. So this is the basic differentiation between the components of environment. Okay. All right, children. So now we will read about the natural environment. When we read about the components of environment, we read natural, human-made, and human component, right? Let me show you again. This was the flowchart we read. Natural component of environment had biosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. So we are going to read these only. We are going to read the natural environment. So continuing with natural environment, land, water, air, plants, and animals. All the components which are made by nature and not human being. We have not made land, we have not made water. We have made road on land, but not land. Land तो nature ने दिया ना हमें. So land, water, air, plants and animals and all these relatable objects are made by nature and thus these components comprise the natural environment. Natural environment में क्या क्या आता है? Anything which is made by nature. For example, land, water, air, plants and animals. Now we will read the domains of the natural environment. The domains of the natural environment as we read in that flowchart also were biosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. Okay. So starting with the first domain, lithosphere. What is lithosphere? I told you the meanings also, basic meanings also. We will read further. Lithosphere is actually the solid crust or the hard top layer of the earth. Hard top layer of the earth. That is why lithosphere has been marked over here. Okay. It's the solid crust or the hard top layer of the earth. It is made up of rocks and minerals and covered by a very thin layer of soil also. The hard surface on the top of the earth made up of rocks and minerals has a layer of soil also. It's an irregular surface. Regular मतलब होता है एकदम smooth एक जैसा. Irregular मतलब कभी ऊपर है, कभी नीचे है, कभी plain है, कभी ऐसा. Could be anything. It is an irregular surface with various landforms such as mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys, etc. So ये मत सोचना that mountains are only mountains. They are not lithosphere. Lithosphere is any hard top layer of the earth. अर्थ के अंदर मैग्मा है. अर्थ के अंदर मैग्मा है. Right? The interior of the earth has magma, lava and everything. But the top of the earth जहां हम लोग रहते हैं, this top of the earth land is called lithosphere. Okay? So mountains. And इस top पे ही तो mountains भी हैं. अर्थ के top पे ही तो mountains भी हैं, valleys भी हैं. All the plains are also here, all the plateaus are also here. Right? Everything is on the top layer of the earth only. ये top layer पे ही तो है सब कुछ. अंदर तो सब magma and all, magma, rocks ये सब है. हम लोग अर्थ के अंदर थोड़े ना रहते हैं. अर्थ के ऊपर रहते हैं. Right? Hence, all the creations which are on the top layer of the earth, the mountains, the valleys. This is not an earth. This is just a circle. I'm just using it as an earth. Let me show you again.
देखो स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ से मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ. ये है आपका वर्ल्ड, ठीक है. ये है आपका कंट्री इंडिया, ओके. और ये पूरा जो कॉन्टिनेंट आपको यहाँ दिख रहा है ना, हम अर्थ के ऊपर रहते हैं, ठीक है. देखो ऊपर पूरी जमीन है. ये देखो, ये यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स की जमीन है. ये नीचे वेनेजुला, कोलंबिया, पूरे साउथ अमेरिका की कंट्रीज हैं, ठीक है. इधर देखो ओशन है, पानी है, और यहीं पे जमीन है. ये देखो कनाडा भी दिखा दिया मैंने आपको. इधर देखो रशिया भी है, चाइना, साउथ कोरिया, जापान. तो ये सारी जमीन अर्थ के ऊपर है. हम अर्थ के ऊपर रहते हैं, ठीक है, अंदर नहीं रहते हैं.
And this is the interior of the earth, this portion. Can you see all the yellow and red lines? The yellow color and red color. This is all magma and lava, alright? And the top layer, we read the top layer known as the lithosphere. The top hard layer of the earth is known as the lithosphere. So this is the toppest layer of the earth, which is known as the lithosphere. And can you see? Here it is water. Still lithosphere has been marked here because even water bodies at some depth or the other, they also have a land. Every body, be it a water body, be it a continent, everything has a land. Everything has a lithospheric surface. Okay, that is why we read this. So this is the inside portion, inside picture of the earth, and this is your outer earth on which you live. I hope you understand that mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys, everything is included as a part of lithosphere because everything is on the top layer of the earth. Now please understand, landforms are found over the continents and also on the ocean floors. ये जो आपको पानी दिख रहा है ना, इस पानी के नीचे कहीं जाके very down deep inside there will be a land. There will be a landform and that landform will also be a part of lithosphere. तो ये मत सोचना कि यहाँ पानी है तो हमेशा पानी ही होता है. Very deep down there is always a land, a piece of land. Okay, it could be various kilometers deep, but there is always a land even under the water body. Okay, so any hard surface or crust on the top of the layer of the earth covered by soil having rocks and minerals is known as lithosphere. Reading more about lithosphere. Lithosphere is the domain that provides us forest, grasslands for grazing, land for agriculture and place for human settlement. Lithosphere ही तो है, forest, the entire forest is a part of lithosphere. The grasslands are a part of lithosphere. The land we use for agriculture is a part of lithosphere. The buildings we make on the land are a part of lithosphere. So it's a source of mineral wealth also. The lithosphere only has a lot of minerals which are used for various other productive purposes and manufacturing purposes. So lithosphere is that main domain of natural environment which gives us forest, grasslands and land for agriculture and human settlements. Plus, it's a very good source of minerals also. Now you will say water has minerals. Water also has minerals, but land also has minerals. Why? Because land or lithosphere is covered by a thin layer of soil and soil always have minerals. Okay, so this was the first domain of natural environment, lithosphere. Coming on to the other domains of the natural environment, second is the domain of water, referred to as hydrosphere. I showed you also. The domain of water, that means hydrosphere, comprises various sources of water and different types of water bodies like rivers, lakes, seas, oceans, etc. Why are we calling these as water bodies? We are calling these rivers, lakes as water bodies, right? Because water is there, but it is flowing in a form of a body. If it is flowing in the form of a river, it's a different body. If it is flowing in the form of a lake, it's a different body. Sea has a different body, ocean has a different body. That is why we are calling them as different water bodies. It is essential for all living organisms. We need not tell that how essential water actually is. We use it for almost every purpose. We use it for drinking, we use it for gardening, washing clothes, washing utensils and so many other things. Okay. Coming on to the next domain of natural environment, that is atmosphere. Atmosphere is the thin layer of air that surrounds the earth. There is a thin layer of air that surrounds the earth. I showed you also in that chart. The gravitational force of the earth holds the atmosphere around it. Now what is gravitational force? So in easier language you can understand gravitational force is actually a force of attraction used by earth to attract all the masses near its surface. So anything which will be near the earth will attract it towards it. Earth will attract that mass towards it. That is why when you throw a ball in the air, it comes back to you because of the gravitational force of the earth. If apples grow on trees or any fruit that grow on trees, they fall on earth. When they are completely prepared, they fall on earth because of the gravitational force. So gravitational force is, in easier language you can understand, gravitational force is an attraction. It is a force of attraction which is used by earth to attract all the masses towards it. Okay. So we were talking about the atmosphere. Atmosphere is the thin layer of air that surrounds the earth. And gravitational force of the earth holds the atmosphere. ये जो air है, ये उड़ के यूनिवर्स में इसीलिए नहीं जा रही बिकॉज ऑफ द ग्रेविटी, बिकॉज ऑफ द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स दिस लेयर ऑफ अर्थ is holding this layer of earth. Okay, this is earth and this is this very thin layer of air, and this air is not able to go anywhere because earth has gravitational force and the gravitational force is holding this air. Okay, this atmosphere or the thin layer of air protects us from the harmful rays and the scorching heat of the sun. It consists of number of gases, dust and water vapor. This atmosphere, this thin layer of air has number of gases, dust and water vapor also. It protects us from the harmful rays and heat of the sun. Now you will say we already receive a very large amount of heat from the sun, but let me tell you, if there were no atmosphere, you must have had received the heat of the sun 500 times more what you receive today. Okay, sun is very warm, it's a fireball. Because of the atmosphere, you are very protected. You receive a very small amount of heat from the sun because of the atmosphere. अगर atmosphere नहीं होता सब जल जाते, इतनी heat आ सकती है sun से. The changes in the atmosphere produces changes in the weather and climate. If the atmosphere will be weak, weather and climate will be extreme. Why do we face so severe winters and so severe summers, so extreme summers? Because the atmosphere is getting weak. It is getting exploited by human beings, and that is why there is a drastic shift and change in the weather and climate. Okay, so by this we have completed the third domain of the natural environment, also known as atmosphere. Now coming on to the last domain of the natural environment, that is biosphere. Plant and animal kingdom together make biosphere or the living world. It's a very narrow zone of the earth where land, water, air, they interact. The land, the water, the air interact. They interact with each other to support the life. So all the plants and animals on the world makes the biosphere, makes the living world. But how do we live? How all the animals and plants live? Because of the land, air and water. And there is an interaction between land, air and water at some point of space on earth through which biosphere is created, through which living world is created. And all these domains of natural environment completes the theory of natural environment. All right. Now let's read what is ecosystem. So children, all plants, all the animals and all human beings depend on their immediate surroundings. That we have already read, that we are dependent on our surroundings. We are dependent on the trees for the oxygen. Animals are always dependent on the plants and other animals for their food. Plants are dependent on animals as well as human beings because they need carbon dioxide to work to make the glucose, right? So all plants, animals and human beings depend on their immediate surroundings. Often they are also interdependent on each other. Now what do we mean by interdependent? When A is dependent on B and B is dependent on A, and this cycle goes on, interdependent. Okay, this relation between the living organisms as well as the relation between the organism and their surroundings form an ecosystem. So this relation of interdependency between the organisms and between the organism and its surroundings, this relationship is known as ecosystem. There could be an ecosystem of large rainforest, grassland, desert, mountain, lake, river, ocean, and even a small pond. That means there could be a relation between the organisms or the plants in the large rainforest, the grasses, the desert, the mountains, lake, river, ocean, and everything. All these can have interdependency relation also, and they can have relation with their surroundings also. Right? For example, this is a pond ecosystem. What is it showing? The pond is there and plants have been grown. because pond is there. Because pond is there, sand will be there. Sand is there, plants will grow. Plants will grow, animals will come. Animals will come, plants will get carbon dioxide to work, right? And this is how the entire surroundings are dependent on each other, and hence it is creating an ecosystem. We will read ecosystem in some other words also. Ecosystem is a system formed by the interaction of living beings, all the living organisms, with each other, and with the physical and chemical factors also, with the physical and chemical factors of the environment in which they live, all linked by transfer of energy and material. So there is a dependency, there is an interaction between the physical and chemical factors of the environment, and there is always a transfer of energy and material between the organisms. Hence, ecosystem is a system in which all the interaction between living organisms happen, all the physical and chemical factors affect the relationship, and there is always a transfer of energy and material between the organisms and surroundings, and this is known as a ecosystem. Okay, children, now we will learn about human environment. Okay, another very important component of the environment, human environment. Human beings interact with the environment and modify it according to their needs. हम अपने environment से अपने surroundings से interact करते हैं, and then we modify it according to our needs. For example, if we are sitting in a room and we do not like the arrangement of the room, that means where the bed is kept, where the table is kept, we will change it, we will modify it, right? So human beings always interact with the environment and then modify it according to our needs. Early humans adapted themselves to the natural surroundings. जैसी भी natural surrounding होती थी, humans used to adapt. जो early humans थे, they used to adapt themselves according to the natural surroundings. They led a very simple life and fulfilled their requirement from the nature around them. Okay, and it's very laudable also that early humans did not try to deteriorate the natural surroundings. They lived according to the natural surroundings. They did not modify that much. They did not say that I will live my life my own way and I will destroy the natural surroundings. No, they led a very simple life and they fulfilled their requirement from the nature around them. Whatever nature gave them, they used it and they never deteriorated it. Okay, there was no exploitation of natural resources by early humans. But with time, needs grew and became more varied. Humans learn new ways to use and change the environment because अब time बढ़ने लगा, population was rising, our needs and necessities were increasing day by day. That is why we wanted some variety of resources as well. And then humans started learning new ways to use and change the environment, to change the natural environment. They learned how to grow crops. They learned how to domesticate the animals and then led a very settled life. We read this in class 6th history also, that how early human transformed themselves to a developed human being by practicing agriculture, learning how to grow crops, learning how to domesticate the animals, and then leading a very settled life. The wheel was invented, surplus food was produced, barter system emerged. What was barter system? I told you, when you trade one product in exchange of another product. So you give one product and you receive one product. This is known as barter system. Trade also started and commerce developed. This was the basic evolution of human being, that how human being from being a hunter-gatherer became a trade merchant. Then industrial evolution enabled large scale production. Then industrial evolution came in the world. Industries बनने लगी, large production was done by the machinery and various labor was involved, capital intensive labor were involved. A lot of machines also invented at that point of time. And because of large production, transportation became faster. Trains developed, airplanes developed, and transportation became faster to supply this production to all the parts of the world. Okay? Information revolution also came. Now, information revolution means any revolution where information reaches the people within a very less amount of time. जब इंफॉर्मेशन हर किसी के पास बहुत आसानी से कम समय में चली जाए, that is known as information revolution. Information revolution made communication easier and speedy across the world because now everyone had a mobile phone to call. Have you ever thought why you love eating a juicy watermelon in summer and hot roasted peanuts in winter? Because there is a perfect balance which is necessary between the natural and human environment. You need a balance. गर्मी लग रही है तो जूसी चीजें ठंडी चीजें खाएंगे, ठंड लग रही है तो कुछ हॉट रोस्टेड खाएंगे. So you always need a balance between two components and conditions. Similarly, we need a balance between natural and human environment. That is why humans must learn to live and use their environment in a harmonious way, and we should not exploit or deteriorate our environment. Okay? Because if you will harm your environment will pay it back and it will give major setback losses. The climate change we are facing today, the high rising temperatures we are facing today, it's all because of the harm we have given to the environment, the exploitation we have done to the environment. So human environment needs to interact well and cooperate well enough with the natural environment. Only then a balance will be created, and then only humanity can be survived and can lead a settled life for a very long period of time. Otherwise, our environment will get destroyed and humans will not be able to live on this planet. Okay. Now I will tell you one do you know, and then I will tell you the meaning of this word barter system which we read here in the human environment. Just now we read the human environment in which we got to know that how humans developed into merchants and how barter system also started. So barter system is actually a trade. It's a trade in which goods are exchanged without the use of money. Money is not involved, but goods are involved. You buy one product in exchange of another product. That is known as barter system. Okay. There is one do you know fact that on June 5 every year the World Environment Day is celebrated. So please remember to plant a sapling or to help your environment. Try to save your environment and do some special efforts every year on 5 June. Okay? Alright, let's recall the chapter with the help of some exercises. Your question number 1 is answer the following questions. Question number 1. So this is a major question. Answer the following question, and it has following parts. So the first part is saying what is an ecosystem? And you read it in the chapter also. It's a very easy answer. If you do not know, please pause, go revise that slide and then answer it. I've given a short answer here. All plants, animals and human beings depend on their immediate surroundings. They are also interdependent on each other. This relation between the living organisms as well as the relation between the organism and their surroundings form an ecosystem. Ecosystem एक relation होता है between the living organisms and between the organism and their surrounding. This relationship forms the ecosystem. Okay, a system which has all the components dependent on each other. Okay. Next part. What do you mean by the natural environment? Not man-made environment, natural environment. The natural environment consists of land, water, air, plants, and animals. Thus, natural environment refers to both biotic and abiotic. And I told you that biotic means plants and animals, abiotic means land. So the natural environment refers to both biotic and abiotic conditions that exist on the earth. So basically natural environment is that environment which has occurred on earth naturally. We have not made it. It is not artificial or made by man. It has been there on earth because of nature. It's there naturally. For example, land, water, air, plants and animals. Okay. Part 3. Which are the major components of the environment? Environment आपने पढ़ा, but what are the major components? The major components of the environment are natural components, human components. Natural components include land, air, water, living things. Then there are human-made components also, such as buildings, parks, bridges, roads, industries, monuments, etc. And then there is human. Human is also a major component of the environment, right? Including the individual human being, the family of all the human beings, the community, the religion, educational, economic, etc. Okay, so these are the major components of the environment. Part 4. Give 4 examples of a human-made environment. Okay, not natural now. Now we are asking human-made environment. 4 examples of human environment, not an S. Environment would be buildings, parks, bridges, roads. You can add more examples also. What is the lithosphere? Part number 5. What is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the solid crust or the hard top layer of the earth. Hard top layer of the earth. It is made up of rocks and minerals and covered by a thin layer of soil. Hard top layer of earth, having thin layer of soil. It is an irregular surface with various landforms such as mountains, plateaus, plain, valleys, etc. So lithosphere is the solid crust, hard top layer of the earth, made up of rock, mineral, covered by thin layer of soil, has an irregular surface, has various landforms such as mountains, plateau, plain, valley, etc. So mountains are also lithosphere, plateau are also lithosphere, plain region also are lithosphere, and the valley region is also lithosphere because that's the top layer of the earth. Any top layer of the earth is considered as lithosphere. Sixth part. Which are the two major components of the biotic environment? Okay, biotic environment. Plants and animals are the two major components of a biotic environment. Okay. Part number 7 is, what is biosphere? The biosphere is a narrow zone of the earth where land, water, and air interact. Land, water, air interact with each other to support the life. Thus, plant and animal kingdom together make biosphere, that is the living word. So, biosphere is any narrow zone where the interaction happens of the components of earth. Okay, so the components land, air, and water, wherever is the zone they meet and interact, that zone is called the biosphere. So, the plants and the animal kingdom creates an interactive zone, and hence a biosphere is created over there. Similarly, various other biospheres are also created. Okay, I have just given you an example. By the interaction of plant and animal kingdom, there is a narrow zone where biosphere is created, and hence we have the living word. Alright, so question number 1 with 7 parts are done. Moving on to question number 2. Pick the correct answer. So I will ask you a question. I will give you 3 options also, and you have to choose the correct answer. So the first part says that, which is not a natural ecosystem? Desert, aquarium, forest. Now think about it. What is not a natural ecosystem? The aquarium, because we make it. B option. We make aquarium. हम वो glass का box खुद बनाते हैं. So the fishes inside it, the fishes we have inside it are natural ecosystem, but the aquarium, that box, that glass box, is a man-made thing. It's not a natural ecosystem. Second part, which is please remember, not a component of human environment, not a part of human environment. Land, religion, community. Please mark it, it's a not. Land is not a part of the human environment because land is part of a natural environment and not a human environment. Okay. Third part, which is a human made environment? Human made environment. Mountain, sea, and road. Very basic answer, very easy answer. Road. Human have not made the mountain, human have not made the sea, but humans have made the roads. So road is the human made environment. I mean a component of human made environment. Fourth part, which is a threat to the environment? Growing plant, growing population or growing crops? क्रॉप्स उगाने से एनवायरनमेंट खतरे में आता है, पॉपुलेशन से खतरे में आता है या प्लांट से? Of course, population say, because more the population will rise, more resources will be required to live, and hence more deterioration of the environment will happen. Right? That is why growing population is a threat to the environment. Question number 2 with 4 parts also done. Coming on to question number 3. It's the match the following. So here are 4 titles and you have to match it with the correct meaning of it. Biosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, environment. And the options given here are, A option says that blanket of air which surrounds the earth, domain of water, gravitational force of the earth, our surroundings, the narrow zone where land, water and air interact, relation between the organisms and their surroundings. Now you have to match to the exact correct meaning of the words. Okay, think about it. Answer is here. Biosphere, a narrow zone where land, water, and air interact, which was the E answer. E option. You can see here. Then, what is atmosphere? The blanket of air which surrounds the earth. What is hydrosphere? The domain of water. And what is environment? Our surroundings. Everything in our surroundings is our environment. Okay. Question number 3 also done. Now question number 4. You have to give reasons. So I will provide you a statement and you have to give reasons for that statement. Okay. So first statement is man modifies his environment. Now you have to give reason. Man modifies his environment in the following ways. He cuts forest and clears land for agriculture, industries and habitation. Second reason why man modify the environment, because he tills the land for agriculture. Then he uses the land, that means the man uses the land to build buildings, roads and railways. Then man uses water, man uses air for his survival, man sets up industries, factories, etc. And man does numerous other activities for his life, making it comfortable. That is why man modify his environment. Okay. Part number 2. Plants and animals depend on each other. Give reason. Plants and animals depend on each other in the following ways. Plants provide food to animals. That is why they depend on. That is why animals are dependent on plants. They, in the form of forest, provide shelter to wildlife. Right? Wildlife adds beauty to the forest. Animals provide manure to plants for growth because the excretion done by animals are then converted into manure, which is very helpful and essential for the growth of plant. It works as a uh, yes, you can say natural fertilizer, not fertilizer, but manure, a very important organic material used for the growth of plant. Then animals also provide beauty to forest, right? Dead animals also provide humus content. So this is how plant and animal are dependent on each other. We have read this in the chapter also, right? Both plants and animals are dependent on each other. Plant gives us food. Animals give CO2, that means the carbon dioxide, to the plants to live. Animals give manure to plants to live. Animals also add beauty to the forest. Dead animals provide humus to the environment or to the plants. Correct? So even after dying, the animal marne ke baad bhi they are dependent, they are helping the plants. So plants are dependent on the animals, even on the dead animals, and the animals are also dependent on the plants for food. Okay? With this, we come to the end of chapter 1. Thank you. Revise well. Happy learning. We'll see you in the next one.